Hi, Clarity family, and welcome to your reading. Today's reading is the person on your mind and their exact feelings. Now, listen, we're about to get all up in this energy today, and y'all already know how we do it over here. If they miss you, I'm going to tell you. If they are holding back, I'm going to tell you. If they're obsessed, I'm going to tell you. If they're confused, we're going to talk about it. And if they're acting one way but feeling something completely different, honey, we're definitely going to expose it. Because one thing we're not doing today is guessing. We're not reading between the lines. We're not trying to decode text messages, and we're not trying to figure out why they viewed your story at 2:17 in the morning. Okay, we're going straight to the energy, straight to the feelings, straight to what they're struggling to admit. And trust me, some of these messages are about to get very specific. Real quick though, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available. You can ask any 3 questions about love, relationships, family, career, finances, your future, spiritual guidance. And let me just say this. There are things that come through in a personal reading that simply cannot be discussed publicly here on YouTube. Some of y'all already know exactly what I mean. The link is in the description. All right, so listen, pick your pile. Take a deep breath, relax, don't overthink it. Choose the pile that keeps pulling your attention. Pile 1, King of Swords paired with the rose quartz crystal. Pile 2, 5 of Swords paired with the clear quartz crystal. Pile 3, King of Wands paired with turquoise crystal. Which one keeps calling your name? Which one keeps pulling your energy? Go with the first one that catches your attention. And once you've chosen, let's get straight into it. Hi, Clarity family. Pile 1, welcome to your reading. This is the person on your mind, their exact feelings. Now, let me tell you something immediately. You didn't accidentally click this pile. Not a chance, okay? Because the energy I'm picking up already is loud. It's loud, okay? Matter of fact, some of y'all have been going back and forth in your head about this person. One minute you're good, the next minute you're wondering, right? And one minute you're moving forward, the next minute you're thinking about them again. Sound familiar? And let me tell you something else. You're on this person's mind like a stack of condominiums, like a billboard in the middle of a freeway, like a song that they can't get out of their head. Now, whether they're admitting it, that's a completely different conversation. But trust me, this person has been thinking a lot. And if you were drawn to this pile, there's a reason that Spirit wanted you here today, because we're about to find out exactly what's happening in their heart and mind. Now, before we go deeper, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available. If you want insight into your specific person, your specific situation, your specific circumstances, the link is in the description, because there are things that I can say in a personal reading that I simply cannot say here on YouTube. And if you know, you know. Okay? All right, pile 1, your energy, baby, led you here to the King of Swords, paired with the rose quartz crystal. Now, let me just say this. You are a loving person, sometimes to a fault. Well, because you give, You care. You show up. You invest. You communicate. And when you care about somebody, you expect that same energy in return. Makes sense. It makes sense. But here's the issue. The person on your mind, they're giving me King of Swords energy. And King of Swords energy can be emotionally guarded, emotionally reserved, emotionally unavailable at times. And not because they don't have feelings, because they don't always know what to do with those feelings. Okay? See, now we talking, because some of y'all are dealing with somebody who thinks everything, who analyzes everything, questions everything, overthinks everything, but doesn't necessarily say everything. And that's where the frustration comes in, because you're over here saying, can we communicate? And they're over here having a full conversation with themselves. Okay, now let's add rose quartz, the crystal of love, healing, compassion, emotional connection, right? Heart energy, which tells me that there are feelings there. The issue isn't the feelings, the issue is expression. Big difference, because what I'm already seeing in the total energetic frequency is somebody who feels more than they admit. Way more. And here's the thing. The cards are already starting to tell on them, okay? You have 6 more cards to go. Each one is going to uncover what's occupying this person's mind, what they're hiding, what they struggle to admit, their current situation, their true feelings, the overall energetic frequency, right? We're going to find out all of that. And honey, what I'm picking up in the total energetic frequency is getting interesting, because somebody here is acting a lot cooler than they actually feel. So let's go ahead and pull card 1. And let's see where the energy is headed. Card 1. What is the energy as it does relate? You got the Black Jaguar, Old Soul. This is how they see you, honey. This is how they feel about you. The card says, walk through life with confidence and grace. You have power from beyond the world. Focus on what you really want, and you can create your dreams. See, that's why they intimidated, okay? I'm just gonna keep it real. Y'all know it's sugar-free zone, right? We're not gonna hold it back today. But here it is, okay? Because we ask Spirit, how does this person truly see you? Now, baby, the second this card came out, I said to myself, well, there it is. Because now we are getting into why this person acts the way they do. Now we're getting into why this person gets nervous. And now we're getting into why this person sometimes doesn't know what to say around you. Right? Again, because this card says, I'm just going to repeat it. We're going to read it one more time. This card says, walk through life with confidence and grace. You have power from beyond this world. Focus on what you really want, and you can create your dreams. Woo. Girl, now listen. This person sees something different about you. Not different in a bad way. Different in a way they can't quite explain. See, you know how sometimes you meet somebody and they don't feel like everybody else? That's how this person sees you. Okay? Because the Black Jaguar isn't running around trying to prove itself. The Black Jaguar already knows what it is. Let's keep it 100, because this person sees confidence in you. And let me clarify something. Not fake confidence, not loud confidence, not attention-seeking confidence. Real confidence. The kind that comes from surviving things. The kind that comes from experience. the kind that comes from growth, okay? And that's exactly why they're intimidated. There it is. I said it. Because some of y'all keep asking, why don't they just say something? Why don't they just come forward? Why don't they just communicate? That's what you're asking. Honey, because you're not dealing with somebody who feels completely comfortable around this energy. This person feels like you've got your life together more than you probably think you do. Now, don't get mad at me, okay? I'm just reading the cards because Spirit keeps showing me somebody looking at you like she sees right through me, okay? I can't play games with her. I can't tell her just anything. She's gonna know, okay? Now that is a word because this old soul energy keeps showing up. And old soul energy isn't always easy for people to deal with. Why? Because old souls tend to see beneath the surface. They see motives, they see patterns, they see energy, they see what's not being said. And whether this person admits it or not, they know it. Okay? Now, let's stir the tea. Let's stir the tea. Because what really catches my attention is the phrase, power from beyond this world. Okay? Because this person genuinely sees you as somebody special, not ordinary, not forgettable, not basic. Matter of fact, this person may actually feel like you're out of their league in some way. Now, don't start acting brand new. I'm just reading the cards because what keeps coming through is admiration, respect, a little intimidation, and a whole lot of fascination. And trust me, okay, if this is how they see you, the total energetic frequency is already getting interesting because this isn't reading like somebody who overlooks you. This is reading like somebody who's paying very close attention, right? So let's go ahead, baby, and pull card 2. Let's do it. What is the energy? Yes, as it does relate. And let's see what's coming through. What we got, Spirit? What's coming through this person? Card 2. Shoot. Y'all. We got ego. Ego, hurt ego. Ego getting in the way of relationships, etc. Didn't we pick this up earlier? They are living and moving from this place, right? They're moving from this. That's why they can't open up, okay? That's why you don't get what you want. That's why you feel intimidated. I mean, they feel intimidated when it comes to you. That's why, okay? We picked this up earlier. The King of Swords, emotionally guarded, overthinking, holding things in, acting cooler than they actually feel. And now ego. That's not a coincidence. That's confirmation. Because what I'm picking up is that this person is moving from their ego, not their heart, not their emotions, not their vulnerability, their ego. Now let's talk about it, because ego gets a bad reputation sometimes. But ego isn't always somebody being arrogant. Sometimes ego is protection. Sometimes ego says, don't text first. Don't reach out. Don't let them know how much you care. Don't let them know you miss them. Okay? Now we're getting somewhere, because this person keeps wanting to appear strong, wanting to appear unaffected, wanting to appear in control. Meanwhile, their feelings are doing something completely different. Matter of fact, I keep hearing, I don't want to look foolish. There it is. Because this person is terrified of rejection, terrified of looking vulnerable, terrified of putting themselves out there and not getting the response they're hoping for. Now let me open the blinds. Some of y'all think this person doesn't care. Baby, that's not what these cards are saying, okay? Not at all. These cards are saying they care. They think about you. They're affected by you. Their ego keeps stepping in. And that's exactly why some of their actions don't match their feelings. Because every time the heart says, reach out, the ego says, wait. Every time the heart says, tell them, the ego says, don't do it. And every time the heart says, be honest, the ego says, protect yourself. Now that is the struggle, because this person is having an internal battle. And honestly, the ego is winning more often than the heart right now. Now, here's the interesting part. Remember card 1. Black Jaguar, old soul, powerful energy, confident energy, intimidating energy. This person already sees you as somebody strong, somebody perceptive, somebody they respect. So when somebody already feels a little intimidated, and then you add ego on top of that, Lord have mercy. Now they really don't know what to say. Because I keep picking up somebody who wants to maintain control. They want to control how much they reveal, control how much they show, control how much they admit. But the total energetic frequency is already getting loud AF, because the more they try to hide it, the more obvious it becomes. Now, so far, we have the King of Swords equals holding feelings in. Rose Quartz equals love and emotional energy. Black Jaguar equals admiration, respect, fascination, and intimidation. Ego equals fear of vulnerability, pride, self-protection, and emotional walls. And trust me, if this is standing in the way, I absolutely need to see what's really happening underneath all this armor. Because somebody's heart is saying one thing and their ego is saying something completely different. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull card 3. And let's see what's coming through. What is the energy as it does relate? Thank you, Spirit. All right, so you got the damsel, but it came out in reverse, D-A-M-S-E-L, coming out in reverse. The shadow attribute says, waiting for a knight to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusion. This is them. This is why you can't get nothing out of them. And when you do get something, it feels distant. There is no connection. Right? So, but are we surprised? Are we surprised, honey? Because Spirit asks, what is really going on beneath the surface with this person? Damsel in reverse. Now, the second this card came out reversed, I said, oh, now we're getting somewhere. Because the shadow attribute says, like I said, waiting for a knight to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusion. And listen carefully, because this isn't necessarily talking about somebody waiting for Prince Charming. That's not what I'm picking up, not at all. What I'm picking up is that this person lives in fantasy more than reality. Let's keep it a buck. Because some people like the idea of love. Some people like the fantasy of connection. Some people like imagining relationships. Some people like daydreaming about relationships. But when it's time to actually show up, that's a different story. Okay? Now we talking. Because this person spends a lot of time in their head. A lot. And what happens is they build stories. They build assumptions. They build scenarios. They build fears. They build expectations. Meanwhile, the real connection never gets a chance to fully develop. Okay? Right? You hear that? Because some of y'all have noticed it. You reach out, the energy feels distant. You talk, the connection feels inconsistent. You try to get closer, and suddenly they pull back. And you're sitting there saying, what is wrong with this person? Honey, the cards are answering. They're emotionally living in their head. Because remember what we already pulled. King of Swords, mental energy. Black Jaguar, intimidation. Ego, protection. And now Damsel, reversed. Romantic illusion, fantasy, avoidance. Do y'all see the pattern? Because this person is creating distance before distance even exists. All right? Now, let me turn the fire up. I keep hearing, what if this doesn't work? What if I get hurt? What if they don't feel the same? What if I'm not enough? Child, and because they're asking all those questions, they're not fully present. They're not fully available. They're not fully showing up. Now that is why the connection sometimes feels disconnected. Not because there's no feelings. Because there are, like I said, not because there's no feelings, right? Because there are. And not because there's no attraction, because there is. Not because there's no interest, because there absolutely is. The problem is they are falling in love with their fears. Woo! Instead of facing what's actually happening, we're going to keep it 100 because this person is creating emotional distance through overthinking. Creating emotional distance through assumptions. Creating emotional distance through fantasy. And here's the crazy part. They may not even realize they're doing it because this feels automatic. A defense mechanism, a protection mechanism, a coping mechanism. But listen, the total energetic frequency is getting loud, okay? Because so far, this isn't reading like somebody who doesn't care. This is reading like somebody who doesn't know how to handle what they feel. Big difference. Okay? So far, like I said, we got the King of Swords equals holding feelings in. Black Jaguar equals admiration, fascination, and intimidation. Ego equals emotional self-protection. Damsel reversed equals romantic illusion, overthinking, fantasy, avoidance, and emotional distance. Okay? And trust me, if this is what's happening beneath the surface, honey, I absolutely need to see what they're not saying. Because somebody's heart and somebody's actions are definitely not matching right now. Let's go ahead and pull card 4. Let's go. What is the energy as it does relate? And let's see what's coming through. Card 4. All right, so we got the future. The card says, I daydream about our future together, going on adventures and growing old together. I want it all. Whew, whoa. See, that right there. But baby, the cards are officially snitching now. Because we asked Spirit, what is this person not telling you? And you got the future. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to read it again. The card says, I daydream about our future together, going on adventures and growing old together. I want it all. Now hold on, because didn't we just get ego? Then damsel reversed. Fantasy living in their head, romantic illusions, overthinking. And now Spirit comes right behind that and says, I daydream about our future together. Honey, this person spends way more time thinking about you than they would ever admit. Let's just start there. Because somebody out here is acting detached, acting cool, acting unbothered. Meanwhile, in their mind, they're already planning scenes. They're planning scenes that haven't even happened yet. Okay? You see that? Because I keep seeing somebody imagining trips together, conversations together, experiences together, building something together, growing old together. All right, and here's what's crazy. The card doesn't say, I wonder if we could work. No, it says, I want it all. This is a huge difference because this person isn't looking at you like a temporary distraction. They're looking at you like somebody who could actually matter, somebody who could actually have a place in their future. Honey, we're going to stir this tea one more time because this is exactly why the connection feels confusing sometimes, okay? Because on one hand, they're imagining a future. On the other hand, ego, damsel reversed, which is fear, overthinking, fantasy, distance. So what happens? This is what happens. They feel something, then they pull back. They imagine something, then they overthink. They get close, then they get scared. Now that is the pattern because this person has future energy, but they don't always have present moment courage. Okay, Lord, have mercy here because the cards are getting messy. Because what keeps coming through is, what if this actually becomes serious? And for some reason, that excites them and scares them at the exact same time. Because remember card 1, Black Jaguar? They already see you as powerful. They already see you as somebody different. They already see you as somebody they respect. Now we are seeing future, growing old together, building something together, wanting it all. That's not casual energy. Not at all. That's somebody who sees potential. The problem is, potential is easier to dream, okay? It's easier to dream about than it is to act on. And that's exactly where this person keeps getting stuck. But trust me, the total energetic frequency is louder, all right? Because so far, every card keeps saying the same thing. This person feels more than they show. This person thinks more than they admit. And this person wants more than they are revealing. Okay? So far we have the King of Swords, right? We got the King of Swords so far. We got the damsel in distress. Why am I picking up damsel in distress, y'all? I don't know, but I'm saying damsel in distress. We got all this energy, right? We got the rose quartz, which equals love and emotional connection. Black jaguar equaling admiration, fascination, intimidation. Ego, see, that's the problem, equals self-protection and emotional walls. But here you got the future, daydreaming, long-term potential, and wanting more than they are admitting. But listen, if this is what they are imagining, y'all know we absolutely need to see what happens next, because somebody's heart is getting harder and harder to hide. So let's go ahead and pull card 5. With card 5, we're going to see where the energy is headed. All right, let's do it. What is the energy as it does relate? And let's see what's coming through with card 5. You got the 8 of Wands. This card also comes out in reverse, and I'm saying wand energy, W-A-N-D-S, the number 8, 8 of Wands energy. It's coming out in reverse. See, they are slow, because I'm going to tell you what the reverse 8 of Wands energy is, and then I'm going to tell you also what upright is, but I completely understand why reverse came out, okay? This is a type of person that's very slow moving with their emotions, with their feelings, with the things that you know, they, you know, the things that matter. Okay? That's the point here. Here's the thing. Look, I completely understand why the 8 of Wands showed up this way, okay? Because upright, the 8 of Wands is fast-moving energy, things happening quickly, messages, movement, momentum, progress, everything speeding up at once, right? But in reverse, that's delays, slowdowns, hesitation, energy that wants to move but isn't quite moving yet. And honestly, looking at everything we already seen, this makes perfect sense, because we got somebody daydreaming about the future, thinking about you constantly, feeling more than they show, wanting more than they are admitting. Then ego, damsel reversed, overthinking, fear, emotional walls. So the energy feels like, I want this, but also, wait, hold on. That's the vibe. Not lack of feelings, not lack of interest, more like somebody pumping the brakes, because their mind, right? Their mind is moving slower than their heart. So card 5 is showing that the energy wants to go somewhere, but right now it's moving slower than expected. And after everything we've seen so far, that doesn't surprise me one bit, okay? Let's go ahead and tap into the energy of card 6 and see. Let's see where this connection is headed. Thank you, Spirit. Card 6, what is the energy as it does relate? What's coming through? Card 6, you got the 11th house. This is crazy. All this reverse energy. The 11th house coming out in reverse. This is just insane, Clarity family. This usually does not happen like this though, right? It doesn't. All right, Clarity family. So now we're at the final card. And Spirit gave us the 11th house in reverse. Now hold on, because the 11th house normally rules friendships, community, social connections, shared dreams, hopes and wishes, future plans, okay? But in reverse, This is where things get interesting, because what I'm seeing is somebody struggling to bridge the gap between what they feel and what they do. This person has visions, they have hopes, they have dreams, they have imagined possibilities with you. Matter of fact, didn't we just get the future, right? We got that. I daydream about our future together. That's why this isn't a coincidence. This is a synchronicity, because Spirit is repeating the same message. This person absolutely thinks about the future. The problem is that they're struggling to align themselves with the future. Because every time they start thinking about what could happen, ego shows up. Damsel reversed shows up. Overthinking shows up. Fear shows up. Distance shows up. So this card doesn't feel like a lack of feelings. Not at all. It feels like uncertainty, hesitation, second guessing, a disconnect between desire and action. Because if I had to summarize this person's energy, it would be, I want this, but I don't know how to get there. And that's exactly why this connection feels confusing sometimes, because their feelings seem to be ahead of their actions. Their imagination seems to be ahead of their courage. The total energetic frequency, pile 1. All right, Clarity family, let's put this whole thing together. King of Swords equals holding feelings in. Rose Quartz equals love and emotional connection. Black Jaguar equals admiration, respect, fascination, and intimidation. Ego equals emotional self-protection and pride. Damsel reversed equals fantasy, overthinking, and emotional distance. The 8 of Wands, right? We got the future, that future energy. We hear the future. Let's look at the future first, which equals daydreaming about a future together and wanting more than they're admitting. And then the 11th house reverse. This is hesitation, uncertainty, and struggling to align actions with feelings. Now, let me tell y'all what I'm honestly seeing. This person has stronger feelings than they're showing. That's obvious. This person thinks about you more than they are admitting. That's obvious. And this person sees potential with you. That's obvious. The problem isn't the feelings. The problem is the fear. The problem is the ego. The problem is the overthinking. Because every card keeps telling the same story. Their heart is ahead of their actions. Their feelings are ahead of their communication. Their imagination is ahead of their courage. Then you would go into thinking, well, what's going on? Baby, this person's not, I'm gonna be honest, this person does not resonate well with intimacy, right? And emotional intelligence, okay? Baby, what a reading, because if I had to summarize this entire pile in one sentence, it would be, this person feels more than they show. Not a little more, a lot more, because every card kept repeating the same thing. Not once, not twice, over and over again. This person admires you. This person respects you. This person thinks about you. This person imagines possibilities with you. And this person sees potential with you. Matter of fact, I would even go as far as saying that this person may be more emotionally invested than they would ever admit out loud. Because remember, we started with Black Jaguar, the old soul, powerful, intimidating. somebody they admire, somebody they respect. And then Spirit immediately showed us ego, damsel reversed, future, 11th house reversed. Do y'all see the storyline? Because the issue never looked like a lack of feelings, not once. The issue looked like fear, pride, hesitation, overthinking, emotional self-protection. And honestly, some of y'all knew that because you've probably felt it. You probably sensed it. You probably picked up on it intuitively. The inconsistency, the mixed signals, the distance, the confusion. But what Spirit keeps showing me is that this person is not as detached as they appear. Right? Let's keep it 100. Some of the people who act the most detached are the ones feeling the most underneath the surface. Because what I'm seeing here is somebody whose heart and actions aren't fully aligned yet. So if you've been wondering, do they think about me? Yes. Do they see potential? Yes. Do they feel something? Absolutely. The challenge isn't the feelings. The challenge is what they're doing with those feelings. Before you go, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available through the link in the description. If you want insight into your specific person, their intentions, their next actions, the future of this connection, love, relationship, career, finances, spiritual guidance, the link is in the description. And as I always say, that there are things that come through in a personal reading that simply cannot be discussed publicly here on YouTube. And if you know, you know. All right, Clarity family, protect your peace, trust your intuition, and remember, not everybody who is quiet is empty. Sometimes the quietest people are carrying the loudest feelings. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hi, Clarity family. Welcome to your reading, Pile 2. This is the person on your mind, their exact feelings. Now, baby, listen. Let me go ahead and warn you right now. This pile is messy. Not toxic, not horrible, not hopeless, but messy. Because the second I looked at this pile, I immediately got mind games, pride, stubbornness, mixed signals. I miss you, but I'm not calling. I care, but I'm gonna act like I don't. Now, don't get mad at me. I didn't pick the cards, okay? Because if you click this pile, chances are that this person has confused the hell out of you at least once, maybe twice, maybe 17 times. Because 1 minute, they're warm. The next minute, they're cold. 1 minute, they're interested. The next minute, they're in witness protection. And you sitting there like, what is wrong with this person? Honey, that's exactly what we're about to find out. Because what I'm already seeing is that this person has a lot more going on internally than they're showing externally. And trust me, the cards are about to expose every bit of it. Real quick though, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available. If you want insight into your specific person, their intentions, their next actions, the future of the connection, love, relationships, career, finances, the link is in the description. Because there are things that come through in a personal reading that simply cannot be discussed publicly here on YouTube. And if you know, you know. All right, Pile 2, your energy led you here to the 5 of Swords, paired with the clear quartz crystal. Now, let me just say this. The 5 of Swords is not a card that comes in politely. No. This card kicks the door open. Because 5 of Swords energy asks, who's trying to win? Who's avoiding accountability? Who's protecting their ego? Who's refusing to say what they really feel? And unfortunately, I think we already know the answer because the person on your mind keeps giving me, I'd rather be right than vulnerable. Now that is a problem because you cannot build a connection with somebody who's constantly fighting feelings they already know they have. Okay? And then we have clear quartz, which is the master amplifier, the truth amplifier, the clarity amplifier, the crystal that says, let's stop pretending, which tells me spirit is about to expose what's really happening underneath all this confusion. Because somebody has been wearing a poker face, okay? A pretty decent one too. But honey, the cards don't care about poker faces. The cards go straight to the heart. And what I'm already seeing in the total energetic frequency is that somebody is trying very hard to look unaffected and doing a terrible job at it. Now, you still have 6 more cards to go. Each one is going to uncover what they're thinking, what they're hiding, what they are afraid of, what's blocking them, their true feelings, the overall energetic frequency. And honey, something tells me that this person has been lying to themselves all as much as they've been trying to fool you. Okay? So, baby, let's go ahead and pull card 1. And with card 1, we're going to get into it, okay? Card 1, what is the energy as it does relate? Their exact feelings about you. How do they view you? How do they see you? That's going to be the first question. All right, so we got the Coyote. I love this. And the card says, Revealer of Truth. It says, don't take things too seriously. This is a message from Spirit to you as well. Make time to play, but this is how they see you. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own folly. Look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. Ooh. Child, did Spirit just show up? Truth is, Spirit is omnipresent. So listen, we ask Spirit, how does this person truly see you? Coyote, Revealer of Truth. Because this card is deeper than people realize. It's deeper than people realize. I want to read it one more time, okay? Because the card says, don't take things too seriously. Make time for play. Great wisdom comes from laughing at your own mistakes. And look out for the traps and tricks of life and learn from them. Now listen, this person sees you as somebody who has been through some stuff. Not somebody who's lived a perfect life. Not somebody who never made mistakes. Not somebody who never got hurt. No. They see somebody who learned from it. Big difference, okay? This person, because what I'm picking up is this person is smarter than people think. That's how they feel about you, that you are smarter than people think. Matter of fact, here's the thing. This person feels like they can't run game on you. Let's just go ahead and say it. Because some of y'all dealing with somebody who is used to telling half-truths, dodging questions, avoiding accountability, moving funny, and keeping their options open. And then they run into you. And suddenly they realize, wait a minute, this person sees right through my nonsense. Now we talking. Revealer of truth, okay? And what keeps coming through is that they see you as somebody difficult to fool, difficult to manipulate, difficult to mislead. And honey, that makes them nervous because remember what pile we're in, right? We're in the 5 of Swords pile. This is not straightforward pile. This is a pile of pride. ego, mind games, emotional chess matches. So when somebody who's playing emotional chess meets somebody who can actually see the board, Lord have mercy, okay? Because now they don't know what move to make. And let me stir the tea. For some of y'all, this person also sees you as somebody who doesn't stay down. You get hurt, you get back up. You get disappointed, you get back up. Life knocks you around, you get back up. That's what this old wisdom energy feels like, okay? Not perfection, experience, okay? Not perfection, I said experience, which is a big difference. And honestly, I think part of the reason this person keeps acting weird is because they know that you're not naive. You know when something is off. You know when somebody is holding back. And you know when somebody isn't being completely honest. And which means that they can't hide behind the usual nonsense. And trust me, the total energetic frequency is already getting messy because this person respects you, but also think they're a little intimidated by how much you see. Now, so far we have the Five of Swords equals pride, ego, mixed signals, and emotional games. Clear quartz, truth, clarity, and exposing what's hidden. Coyote equals wisdom, seeing through illusions, learning from experience, and revealing the truth. And baby, something tells me that this pile is about to get real messy, real fast. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's get into card 2. What is the energy as it does relate? And let's see what's coming through. And you got travel. The card says travel. They know you going on about your business. And I feel like they think you're traveling too. And I'm also picking up some energy about travel for you. You may have also been thinking about getting your passport or has already gotten your passport. You want to go on adventures. You want to see something more than just your immediate environment. And they see this person sees you and says they see you as moving on, okay? Yes, Spirit. You better get that passport, and if you already got it, you better make those reservations, okay? But we ask Spirit, we ask, how does this person see you? Okay, you got to travel. But hold on, because this card is saying a lot more than people realize. Because when most people see travel, they immediately think, yeah, okay, taking a trip. Okay, yes, that's true. But honey, this card is deeper than that. Because what I'm picking up is that this card, this person sees you moving forward, they mad. Moving on, they big mad. Moving towards your goals, they pressed. Moving towards your future, they jealous. And moving towards bigger things, right? And honestly, I think that's part of, I feel that that's part of what's bothering them. Let's talk about it. Because this person sees somebody who is not sitting, waiting around. Not sitting around crying. Not sitting around putting life on hold. Matter of fact, the energy I'm picking up is that they're gonna be fine without me. That's what they're saying to themselves. They're gonna be fine without me. Lord, there it is. Because I keep hearing, she's still moving. She's still growing. She's still doing her thing. She's still building her life. And for some reason, that hits this person harder than they want to admit. Now, let's turn on the fire. Because for some of y'all, I absolutely feel travel energy around you. Movement, creativity, whenever I say fire energy. okay? Because fire creates. And whenever you see fire in tarot, such as wand energy, you're looking at the fire zodiac, Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. And of course, that's in every birth chart, just depending on what house, sun, moon, rising sign, seventh house of relationships, or even a planet Venus. But I absolutely feel travel energy around you. Not just how they see you. Some of y'all have been thinking about traveling, taking a trip, seeing something different, getting out of your current environment, exploring. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all have either, like I said earlier, been thinking about a passport, recently got a passport, been talking about travel, been looking at destinations. Because this card feels adventurous, not stagnant, adventurous. Big difference, okay? And here's what really catches my attention, is that this person sees you as somebody who wants more out of life. Not more drama, not more confusion, not more games, more life, more experiences, more memories, more adventures, more opportunities, more growth. And remember what pile we're in. Five of Swords. This is somebody who's been playing mental games with themselves. Meanwhile, they look at you and see movement, progress, momentum. And honestly, I think part of them worries because they know if they sit still too long, you won't. You won't. Now that is a word, because this card feels like somebody watching a train leave the station and suddenly realizing, wait, am I getting left behind? Child, listen, the cards are getting messy already because they absolutely see you moving towards something bigger. Whether that's a trip, a new chapter, a new opportunity, or simply a better version of yourself. And trust me, the total energetic frequency is already getting loud, okay? Because this person respects your independence, but they are definitely paying attention, right, to how fast you're moving forward. So far we have Five of Swords, which equals pride, ego, and emotional games. Clear quartz equals truth and clarity. Coyote equals wisdom, right? Truth and seeing through illusions. And travel equals movement, growth, independence, adventure, and moving forward and moving towards a bigger future. Now, baby, let's get into card 3, okay? And let's see what's coming through. What is the energy as it does relate? Card 3. All right, you got the mediator. Yeah, okay, it says gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, and respect for both sides of an argument. This is how they view you. This you. But I'm going to say something because I'm picking up the shadow attributes too, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not even trying to shade this person or say anything bad, but I'm just picking it up. Usually I pick up one attribute, okay, but I'm picking up the shadow attribute as well. But this is towards this person. And it says negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. There it is. Okay. Now, baby, this is where the reading starts getting real. Because what? We ask spirit, what is really going on with this person? The mediator. Now, normally, the light attribute, we said what that says. Now, that's nice. That's cute. That's wonderful. But I'm going to be honest, and I have to be, because y'all know I got to read what I'm picking up. And what I'm picking up is not just light attribute. I'm picking up the shadow too. Now, don't get mad at me. I'm not saying this person is evil. I'm not saying this person is a bad person. I'm not saying that they're sitting in a dark room plotting world domination. I'm just reading the energy. And the shadow attribute says, negotiating with an ulterior motive or agenda, either personally or professionally. Now, there it is. Because what keeps coming through is that this person is not always saying what they really mean. Okay? The cards are already exposing them. Because this person gives me, how can I say this without saying it? How can I test the waters without looking vulnerable? How can I find out how they feel without revealing how I feel? Now we're getting somewhere, because this person is strategic AF. Too strategic. Everything doesn't need a strategy though. Sometimes you just need to tell the truth. But that's not what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing somebody trying to maintain leverage, trying to maintain control, trying to maintain the upper hand. Okay? Now let's just open the blinds. Because remember what pile we're in. 5 of Swords, mind games, pride, winning, being right, protecting the ego. And now we have mediator, negotiation, strategy, ulterior motive, agenda. Do y'all see how these cards are talking to each other? Because this person keeps approaching emotions like a business meeting. Okay? Instead of just saying, I like you, they're over here trying to calculate 12 possible outcomes. Instead of saying, I miss you, they're trying to figure out who should text first, who has the power, who has the advantage, who looks more interested. And honestly, that's exactly why some of y'all have felt disconnected from this person, because the energy doesn't always feel natural. It feels managed, okay? Like they're editing themselves, filtering themselves, holding something back, not showing the full picture. Now, here's the crazy part. I don't think they're doing it because they don't care. I think they're doing it because they care too much. Okay? Because every card so far keeps showing fear underneath the behavior. Fear of rejection, fear of vulnerability, fear of losing control, fear of looking foolish. But trust me, the total energetic frequency is crazy, okay? Because we're starting to see the pattern. This person doesn't trust the connection enough to stop strategizing. And until they do, the energy is going to keep feeling inconsistent, okay? So far we have the 5 of Swords equals pride, ego, and emotional games. Clear quartz equals truth and clarity. Coyote equals wisdom, truth, and seeing through illusions. Travel equals movement, growth, and independence. Mediator equals strategy, negotiation, overthinking, and hidden agendas, which is born from fear and self-protection, right? So let's go ahead and get into card 4. Let's go. What is the energy? All right, as it does relate, let's see what's coming through with card 4. All right, so you got the Tower. Whoa. Now this just really, oh my goodness. Baby, the second this card hit the table, I'm like, oh, what the HE double hockey sticks, okay? Because we asked Spirit, we said, what is this person not expecting? The Tower. Now listen, everybody gets scared when they see the Tower, everybody. But let's talk about what the Tower really is. The Tower is truth hitting, reality hitting, something being exposed, something falling apart, something that can no longer be ignored. And baby, this is sitting right on top of the mediator. Strategy, agendas, calculations, negotiations, trying to control everything. Do y'all see it? Because the Tower doesn't care about strategy. The Tower doesn't care about your game plan. The Tower doesn't care about your poker face. The Tower comes in and says, enough. Now we talking, okay? Because what I'm picking up is that this person's emotional walls are starting to crack. There it is. Because how long can somebody overthink, strategize, pretend, act unbothered, stay distant, and keep stuffing feelings down? Because eventually something breaks. And that's exactly what this feels like. Because remember what we've seen so far. Coyote, you see through nonsense. Travel, you keep moving forward. Mediator, this person keeps trying to control the narrative. And now Tower, which tells me that life is about to force honesty, one way or another. All right? Let's keep it real. Some of y'all are dealing with somebody who thought, I'll deal with it later. I'll figure it out later. I'll say something later. I'll make a move later. And Spirit said, later has arrived. Baby, because this person cannot stay in limbo forever. They cannot keep one foot in and one foot out forever. They cannot keep pretending forever. Now, here's the crazy part. The Tower doesn't always mean disaster. Sometimes the Tower means the illusion is collapsing. And didn't we already see ulterior motives, hidden agendas, strategic behavior? The Tower comes through and says, okay, enough games. What is the truth? Now, listen, because what keeps coming through is that this person is approaching a moment where they can't keep hiding behind the same excuses. They can't keep blaming timing. They can't keep blaming circumstances. They can't keep blaming everything else. At some point, they're going to have to face what they actually feel, what they actually want, what they're actually afraid of. And trust me, the total energetic frequency, baby, it's loud now for real, because this pile started messy, right? But now we're seeing why it's messy. This person has been trying to control something that is becoming harder and harder to control. You hear me? So far, we have 5 of Swords equals pride, ego, and emotional games. Clear quartz equals truth and clarity. Coyote equals wisdom and seeing through illusions. Travel equals movement, growth, and independence. Mediator equals strategy, hidden motives, and emotional calculations. Tower equals truth being exposed, emotional walls cracking, and a reality check that can no longer be avoided. Okay? Honey, I'm going to tell y'all, you're dealing with somebody right here. This person really, be careful, be conscious when dealing with this person, because I'm going to just say this. They are emotionally fragile, but you can't see it. Okay? So let's go ahead. Let's get into card 5. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, y'all. Let's go. What is the energy, Spirit, as it does relate? Card 5. So I'm just like, whoa. Energy I'm picking up is just, I don't know. Let's continue. You got finding myself. See? The card says, it was time I went within to find myself again. I need to figure out what I want out of life. I need space. This is somebody who is emotionally sensitive, reflective now, nostalgia, right? Or should I say nostalgic? Okay. This is where the reading gets real, because we asked, what is this person feeling right now? Find myself. I'm going to repeat it, okay? Let's read it again. The card says, it was time I went within to find myself again. I need to figure out what I want out of life. I need space. Now, hold on, because I know some of y'all immediately heard, I need space, and rolled your eyes. Okay? Lord, because some of y'all said, space for what? You had enough space. You got the whole solar system. Okay? Now let's talk about it, because what I'm actually picking up isn't somebody running around having the time of their life. Not at all. No way. This feels emotionally sensitive, emotionally reflective, emotionally overwhelmed. Okay? Matter of fact, this person feels nostalgic, like I said, very nostalgic. And that's what's interesting, because remember what we already seen? Tower, their walls cracking, mediator, trying to control everything, coyote, truth being exposed. And now they're being forced to sit with themselves. Now that is uncomfortable, because it's easy to stay distracted. It's easy to stay busy. It's easy to avoid feelings. But when life slows down, when you're alone, when it's quiet, that's when everything comes up. And I keep feeling this energy of looking back, reflecting, replaying conversations, replaying mistakes, and replaying missed opportunities, right? Let's keep it real, y'all. Let's keep it real, because for some of y'all, this person is finally starting to realize that some of their own behavior contributed to where things are now. Baby, the cards are exposing people today, because what keeps coming through is, maybe I wasn't as right as I thought I was. Maybe I handled that wrong. Maybe I should have said something. Maybe I should have done something. Woo! Now that is what I think is happening. Not necessarily regret, but reflection. Big difference, because this doesn't feel like somebody completely detached from you. This feels like somebody trying to understand themselves, okay? Trying to understand their feelings, trying to understand what they do, trying to understand like why they do what they do. And honestly, I think they're confused. Not confused about whether they feel something, but confused about what to do with what they feel. Because every card so far, it keeps bringing us back to the same theme. This person thinks a lot, maybe too much. And instead of taking action, they retreat. Instead of speaking, they analyze. Instead of moving forward, they go inward. Now, here's the crazy part. I actually think that this card is one of the most honest cards in the entire pile. Because for once, there is no strategy, no games, no negotiation, no agenda. Just somebody sitting with themselves, trying to figure their life out. And trust me, that total energetic frequency is getting very clear now. Because underneath all that pride and all that overthinking, this person looks a lot more vulnerable than they want anybody to know. Y'all. So far, honey, we got that 5 of Swords, baby. This is pride, ego, and emotional games. That clear quartz is truth and clarity. Coyote, wisdom, and revealing truth. It's coming out. What's done in the dark, coming to the light. Travel is movement, independence, and growth. Mediator, strategy, the negotiation, and the hidden motives. The Tower, emotional walls cracking, and truth being exposed. Finding myself. Yeah, it's reflection, nostalgia, emotional sensitivity, and trying to understand what they truly want. Let's get into card 6 and let's see where this unexpectedly sensitive energy is headed. What is the energy as it does relate? And let's see what's coming through. This is card 6. All right. And you got the opposition. However, the opposition did come out in reverse. Now, this is an aspect. I'm going to explain to you, this is an astrological aspect, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what this is. But the opposition is coming out in reverse. So, huge difference than coming out upright, okay? Spirit gave us this in reverse because here's the thing. Let me just say this. This isn't, like I said, if you know anything about astrology, but if you don't, I'm going to break it down to you simple, right, and clear. So for those of you who don't know, an opposition happens when two planets sit approximately 180 degrees apart. Think of two people standing on opposite sides of a room, looking at each other, aware of each other, connected to each other, but separated. And normally opposition energy can create tension and conflict, push-pull dynamics, polar opposites. You know what I'm saying? Like relationship challenges, power struggles. Now here's where it gets interesting. This card came out in reverse. And baby, that's important because reversed, I don't see the opposition getting stronger. I see the opposition weakening. Okay? Now we talking because what keeps coming through is the wall is starting to come down. Because let's look at the whole pile. 5 of Swords, pride, mediator, strategy, tower, walls cracking, finding myself, reflection, and now opposition reversed. Do y'all see the progression? Because Spirit keeps showing me somebody who has been fighting themselves. Not fighting you, fighting themselves. Because this person's biggest battle doesn't even look external. No, it looks internal. Part of them wants connection. Part of them wants control. Part of them wants love. Part of them wants safety. Part of them wants to move forward. Part of them wants to hide. No wonder this person has been confusing. Because they're confused. They're confused. Okay? Now let's stir the tea. What I love about this card in reverse is I don't feel escalation. I feel realization. Okay? There it is, because something is starting to click. Something is starting to make sense. Something is starting to become harder for them to deny. And honestly, I think the tower had a lot to do with it, because once the illusion starts breaking, the truth starts showing. And the truth appears to be, I care more than I've been admitting. I've been fighting my own feelings. I've been making this harder than it needed to be. Now that is what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. Not perfection, not overnight change, not suddenly becoming emotionally available tomorrow, but awareness. And awareness changes everything. Total energetic frequency, pile 2. All right, Clarity family, let's put this whole messy situation together. 5 of Swords equals pride, ego, emotional games, and stubbornness. Clear quartz equals truth, clarity, and exposing what's hidden. Coyote equals wisdom, truth, and seeing through illusions. Travel equals movement, growth, independence, and not waiting around. The mediator equals strategy, emotional calculations, and hidden agendas. Tower equals truth bombs, emotional walls cracking, and reality hitting. Finding myself equals reflection, nostalgia, self-discovery, and emotional sensitivity. Opposition reversed equals internal conflict beginning to ease, and realization is happening and resistance slowly breaking down. Now, let me tell y'all what I'm honestly seeing. This person is a whole lot more complicated than they are pretending to be. Because on the outside, they try to look logical, controlled, unbothered, strategic. But underneath, I see somebody who has been wrestling with themselves, fighting feelings, fighting vulnerability, fighting truth. And honestly, I think they're getting tired of fighting it, tired of avoiding it, tired of pretending, because every card kept pointing back to the same thing. They think about you, they watch you, they respect you, they are affected by you. The issue was never the feelings. The issue was the resistance. And the final card says that the resistance is starting to weaken. All right, Clarity family, if I had to summarize this entire pile in one sentence, it would be, this person has been fighting their own feelings, okay? Not fighting you, fighting themselves. And there is a difference, because some battles happen in silence. Some battles happen behind closed doors, and some battles happen entirely inside somebody's mind. And that's exactly what this pile feels like. A person who has spent more time analyzing their feelings than expressing them. Okay, Lord, listen, the cards told on them today. And before we go, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available through the link in the description. Because if you want to know about your specific person, your specific situation, your specific future, that's where we can really dive deep. Until next time, Clarity family, trust what you see. Trust what you feel. And remember, sometimes the biggest conflict isn't between two people. It's between somebody and the truth that they're trying to avoid. I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hi, Clarity family. Welcome to your reading, Pile 3. This is the person on your mind and their exact feelings. Now, baby, let me tell you something right now. This person is trying so hard to act unbothered. And it's embarrassing, because some of y'all are sitting over there wondering, do they even care? Do they even think about me? Have they moved on? Honey, if they moved on, then why are they still paying attention? Why are they still checking? Why are they still lurking? Why are they still acting strange every time your name comes up? Make it make sense. Because this pile immediately feels like attraction, chemistry, curiosity, desire, ego, possessiveness, and somebody trying to act cooler than they actually feel. Now, let's talk, because King of Wands energy knows exactly what catches its attention. The problem, sometimes it doesn't know what to do with it once it catches feelings. Okay? Because some of y'all are dealing with somebody who can talk to everybody else. They can talk to everybody else, confident, funny, charming, smooth. It's all that. Then suddenly when it comes to you, system error, buffering, connection lost. Now, why is that? Because you matter. That's why. Real quick though, because a lot of you guys have been asking, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available. You can ask any 3 questions about love, relationships, family, career, finances, spiritual guidance, okay, your future. And let me tell y'all something. There are things that I can see in a personal reading that I simply cannot sit here and say publicly on YouTube. Some of y'all already know exactly what I'm talking about. The link is in the description. All right, pile 3, King of Wands, turquoise crystal. Now, let's get into your energy, because your energy led you here for a reason. And if you click this pile, Spirit wanted you here, period. Okay? Here's what I'm picking up. Let me just say this. You are not dealing with a person that doesn't have feelings. Let's dead that right now. That's not what this is. This feels like somebody who knows they feel something. Matter of fact, the bigger problem might be that they feel too much, because King of Wands energy is attracted. King of Wands energy pursues. King of Wands energy watches. King of Wands energy becomes fixated. Now, baby, let's stir the tea. Let's stir the tea, because some of y'all don't realize how much space that you're taking up in this person's head. You could literally be grocery shopping, watching Netflix, running errands, eating lunch, minding your business, and somehow this fool is still thinking about you. Now, don't get mad at me. The cards haven't even started exposing them yet. Okay, and then we got turquoise. Communication, truth, expression, speaking up, saying what needs to be said. Which is funny, because Spirit paired the communication crystal with somebody who keeps swallowing their words. Lord, because I already see messages typed and deleted, conversations rehearsed in their head, things they wanted to say, things they almost said, and things they should have said. Honey, this person is giving, I got something to tell you. But then they get scared halfway through. Now, here's what I'm already picking up in the total energetic frequency. And trust me, it's loud. I see attraction, curiosity, desire, ego, possessiveness, and somebody trying not to catch feelings after they already caught them. Lord have mercy, because this pile is already a mess, and we haven't even touched card 1 yet, okay? Now, you still have 6 more cards to go. Each one is going to uncover how they see you, what they're hiding, what's occupying their mind, what they want, what's blocking them, the total energetic frequency. And baby, something tells me that Spirit is about to drag somebody's feelings right out into the sunlight, okay? let's go ahead and pull card 1. And let's see where the energy is headed. All right, card 1. What is the energy as it does relate? You got the Hawk, Messenger. The card says, Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater vision to see the signs. Focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. This is you, my love. This is how they see you. Okay? Period. Here's the thing. Hold on, because this card is beautiful, okay? But it also explains why this person acts so weird around you. It explains it. Let's read it again. Let's read it again. I really want you to capture this. It says, Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater vision to see the signs. Focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. Now listen, this person sees you as somebody who is going somewhere, not sitting still, not stuck, not settling, not playing small. Okay? This person looks at you and sees movement, growth, elevation, expansion. All right? Because some of y'all think this person only notices your looks. No. They notice your ambition too. They notice that you don't think like everybody else. You don't settle for the same nonsense everybody else settles for. And honestly, I think this intimidates them a little. I do. There, I said it, because this card is giving, she's leveling up. She's growing. She's evolving. She's becoming something bigger. And some of y'all are dealing with somebody who is looking at you like, am I going to be able to keep up? Okay? Listen, the cards are already dragging people, because I keep hearing that this person isn't staying where they are. That's how they feel about you. They're saying you are not staying where you are. This person sees potential all around you, success around you, opportunity around you, growth around you. Now, here's where it gets messy, because remember, we're in King of Wands. This is attraction. This is pursuit. This is desire. This is attention. So now we got somebody who is attracted to you, but they also see you evolving. They also see you growing. They also see you ascending. And now they're nervous. Because what if they don't move fast enough? What if they don't get their act together? What if somebody else notices what they already see? Okay? Honey, now we talking, because this person absolutely sees you as a catch, not a maybe, not a possibility, a catch, period. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if this person feels like they need to get themselves together before approaching you. Because this messenger energy is giving purpose, direction, confidence, growth, spiritual awareness, and big future energy, right? And this person sees it. They may not tell you, but they absolutely see it. Now, here's what I'm already picking up in a total energetic frequency. It's that this person doesn't just find you attractive. They admire you. And there is a big difference, okay? That's a big difference, because attraction can come and go. Admiration sticks around. So far we have the King of Wands equals attraction, desire, attention, and pursuit. Turquoise crystal, it equals communication, truth, and self-expression. Messenger equals growth, purpose, elevation, success, and somebody who is headed somewhere big. And baby, the cards are already telling me that this person thinks you're way more than just a pretty face. Now let's get into card 2. Let's go. What is the energy as it does relate? Let's see what's coming through. Card 2. All right, so here is the energy. We got ego. See, the card says hurt ego. Ego getting in the way of relationships, etc. So this person's ego is just, man, it's all over the place, okay? The cards are already starting to tell on this person. Now hold on, because didn't I just tell y'all that this person acts like they like to act cool? Didn't I just tell y'all that this person is over here pretending they're unbothered? Well, now the cards are confirming it, because this isn't giving I don't care. No, this is giving I care, but my ego is hurt. Big difference. Now let's talk some real talk, okay? Because some of y'all got somebody over here who absolutely wants your attention, absolutely wants your validation, absolutely wants to know that they still matter. But the second that they don't get the reaction they want, the second they feel ignored, the second they feel rejected, the second they feel overlooked, child, now they're in their feelings, okay? And what's funny is that the King of Wands energy likes to look confident, okay? The King of Wands energy likes to look confident. It does. It likes to look fearless, likes to look like they got it together. But underneath, this person is sensitive as hell, okay? There, I said it. Because what keeps coming through is that they're saying things like, why didn't they call? Why didn't they text? Why didn't they respond? Why aren't they chasing me? Goodness, this person wants to be pursued almost as much as they want to pursue. All right? Now let's go in the dark and bring some ish to light. Because some of y'all think this person is sitting around mad at you. Honey, I think this person is mostly mad at themselves. Because the messenger card just told us they see you growing, ascending, moving forward, leveling up. And meanwhile, this person is over here realizing, wait, what if I miss my opportunity? There it is, because hurt ego energy often shows up when somebody feels like they're losing control of a situation. And guess what? King of Wands likes control. This person likes knowing where they stand, likes knowing they're wanted, likes knowing they're important, likes knowing they still got access. Lord, listen, the cards are dragging somebody today, for real. Because what I'm honestly seeing is that this person isn't upset because they don't care. They're upset because they do care. And that's what's irritating them. Because if they didn't care, they wouldn't be triggered. If they didn't care, they wouldn't be paying attention. If they didn't care, their ego wouldn't even be involved. Now we're getting somewhere, because the total energetic frequency is already starting to show me attraction, desire, pride, ego, somebody trying to maintain control while secretly caring way more than they want to admit. Okay? Baby, and we're only on card 2. Okay? So far, we have the King of Wands, which equals attraction, desire, confidence, and pursuit. Turquoise crystal equals communication, truth, and expression. Messenger equals growth, elevation, purpose, and admiration. Hurt ego equals pride, emotional triggers, insecurity, and somebody pretending they're fine when they absolutely are not. Now, baby, the cards are just starting to expose this person. Let's get into card 3. Thank you, Spirit. What is the energy as it does relate? Let's see what's coming through. You got priest, and it came out in reverse. It's the shadow attribute. And it says, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. This is them, okay? Like I said, we're going to tell it like it is. The cards are about to get messy, okay? Because we ask Spirit, what is really going on with this person? And priest in reverse came out. Now listen. Now before everybody start throwing tomatoes, let me explain what I'm actually picking up. Because I am not sitting here saying that this person is evil. I'm not saying that they're a bad person. I'm not saying they're running around plotting on innocent civilians. But baby, this person absolutely has an issue with pride. There, I said it. Because what keeps coming through is they like being in control of the narrative. Okay? This is somebody who likes controlling how people see them, how people perceive them, how much they reveal, how vulnerable they appear. All right? Matter of fact, some of y'all got somebody who acts like, I got everything figured out. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm good. I'm fine. Meanwhile, their emotional life is on fire behind the scenes. The cards are dragging somebody today. Because what I keep seeing is somebody who doesn't like appearing weak, doesn't like appearing vulnerable, doesn't like appearing rejected, doesn't like appearing emotional. And remember what we just got. Hurt ego. Okay? That's why these cards are talking to each other. Because this priest reversed energy, it feels like I'm going to act like I don't care when they do. I'm going to act like I'm over it when they're not. Okay? So they also say, I'm going to act like it doesn't affect me. Meanwhile, they're over there thinking about it at 1:42 in the morning. Lord, listen. This tea is piping hot, y'all, because I think this person has an image of themselves that they are trying very hard to protect. Let's call a thing a thing. Maybe they see themselves as the strong one, the confident one, the one who never chases, the one who never gets hurt, the one who always has options, the one who never catches feelings. And Spirit is over here saying, yeah, about that, about that. Because this pile is giving attraction they can't control, feelings they didn't expect, emotions they didn't plan for. And now their ego is getting involved. Their pride is getting involved. Their image is getting involved, which is exactly why they're acting strange. Because this person is trying to maintain control of an emotional situation that is becoming harder and harder to control. And now here's the funny part. The more they try to hide it, the more obvious it becomes. Okay? Somebody's poker face is not working. Because what I'm already picking up in a total energetic frequency is that this person likes looking powerful. But underneath all that confidence, I see somebody who's way more emotionally affected than they want anybody to know. Okay? And so far, we have King of Wands, attraction, desire, and fixation. Turquoise crystal, communication and truth. Messenger, growth, admiration, and seeing your potential. Hurt, ego, pride, insecurity, and emotional triggers. Priest, reversed. Protecting an image, avoiding vulnerability, pride, and somebody trying way too hard to look unaffected. And baby, this person is getting exposed card by card, right? Let's get into card 4. What is the energy as it does relate? And let's see what's coming through. Woo, baby. Now, when I tell you, this is some heavy energy coming through. Let's get it. Thank you, Spirit. You got strength, but guess what? It's in reverse. Strength in reverse, card 4. Do y'all be saying to y'allself, they weak AF? Because when I tell you this energy, the energy got heavy, right? Because Spirit said, nope. Turn that card upside down. Let's talk about what's really going on. Now listen, whatever this card is, the fact that it came out in reverse immediately tells me that this person is resisting something. And honey, the resistance is getting ridiculous at this point, because let's look at what's already on the table. Messenger, they see your value. Hurt, ego, they're triggered. Priest, reverse, they're protecting an image. Okay? And trying to act unaffected, baby. Trying to act like they're good. Trying to act like they're in control. And now the 4th card comes out, strength in reverse. Somebody is fighting something hard. Because what I keep hearing is, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to admit this. I don't want to face this. But here's the problem. The more you resist something, the bigger it gets. And that's exactly what I'm seeing. Because some of y'all are dealing with somebody who keeps trying to shove feelings in the closet. And now the closet door won't close. Okay? Because every time they think they're over it, something reminds them of you. Every time they think they're moving on, there you are. Every time they think they're good, something triggers them. And now they're irritated. Not necessarily at you, at the fact that they can't control it. Because this pile keeps screaming, control, control, control. But feelings don't care about control. That's why they're feelings, okay? That's why they're feelings. All right, now we're getting it. We talking. Because what I'm seeing is somebody who is slowly realizing, I might actually care more than I planned, more than I expected, more than I wanted to. And baby, that realization is hitting this person like a freight train. The total energetic frequency is getting loud AF. Because I don't see somebody detached. I don't see somebody indifferent. I don't see somebody who doesn't care. I see somebody trying very hard to convince themselves they don't care. And failing miserably. This pile is dragging somebody straight through the mud. So far, we have King of Wands, attraction, desire, and attention. Turquoise crystal, communication and truth. Messenger, admiration, growth, and seeing your potential. Hurt, ego, pride, insecurity, and emotional triggers. Priest, reversed. Protection, like protecting an image and avoiding vulnerability. And card 4, strength in reverse. Baby, this is resistance and denial and emotional suppression and somebody fighting feelings that are getting harder to ignore. And baby, the cards are nowhere near done exposing this person. Okay, so let's get into card 5. What is the energy as it does relate? Let's see what's coming through. Card 5. You got emotional intimacy. See, the card says, I'm afraid to truly open up to you. Being raw and authentic with my emotions is something I'm still working on. You don't say. As if you didn't know this, right? There it is, there it is, there it is. Because Spirit just walked over to the problem and pointed directly at it. Okay? Baby, I'm going to repeat it. The card says, I'm afraid to truly open up to you. Being raw and authentic with my emotions is something I'm still working on. Now, hold on. Because didn't we just get hurt ego? Priest reverse. Trying to look strong. Trying to look unaffected. Trying to look in control. And now Spirit comes through and says, yeah, because they're scared. Okay? Because some of y'all have been asking, why don't they just tell me how they feel? Why don't they just communicate? Why don't they why do they keep acting weird? Honey, because vulnerability terrifies them. There it is. Because this person can handle attraction, they can handle chemistry, they can handle desire. No problem. No problem there. But the second we start talking about real feelings, real emotions, real vulnerability, real intimacy, real honesty, child, listen, now they're somewhere hiding emotionally behind a couch. Okay? Now let's open the curtain, because I don't think this person is afraid you'll reject them. Not entirely. I think that they're afraid you'll see them. That's different. Big difference. Because attraction is easy. Lust is easy. Chemistry is easy. But emotional intimacy, that's where people start taking off masks. That's where people start telling the truth. That's where people start exposing wounds. And baby, this person is not comfortable there yet. They're not comfortable in that space. All right? Matter of fact, what keeps coming through is, what if they know how much I care? That's what they're saying. They're saying, what if they know how affected I am? And what if they know how much power they have over me? These are the things that they are asking themselves about you. Because some of y'all are dealing with somebody who likes being the strong one, the confident one, the composed one, the one who always looks like they got it together. But emotional intimacy requires the exact opposite. It requires honesty. It requires trust. It requires softness. And that's exactly what scares them. Because once you open your heart, you lose control. Okay? And if there's one thing that this pile keeps screaming, it's control, control, control. But here's what I love. This card didn't say, I don't care. It didn't say, I've moved on. It didn't say, I don't want you. The card literally says, I'm afraid. And baby, Fear and lack of feelings are not the same thing. Not even close. The more these cards come out, the more I'm seeing somebody who is emotionally affected way more than they're letting on. And honestly, that's probably what frustrates them the most. Because King of Wands likes confidence, likes certainty. It likes knowing exactly what they're doing. But feelings got this person out here looking confused. Okay? And again, so far we have the King of Wands, attraction, desire, and attention. Turquoise crystal, communication and truth. Messenger, admiration, growth, and seeing your future. Hurt, ego, pride, and emotional triggers. Priest, reversed, protecting an image and avoiding vulnerability. Strength, reverse, resistance and fighting feelings. Emotional intimacy, fear of opening up, fear of vulnerability, and fear of being truly seen. And baby, the cards are making it very clear that this person isn't struggling with attraction, they're struggling with emotional exposure. Now let's get into card 6. What is the energy as it does relate? And let's see what's coming through. Card 6. And you got the 5th house, child, in reverse. In reverse. I'm going to tell you all about the 5th house. This is obviously an astrological card, astrology. I'm going to tell you all about the 5th house and how this energy, what I'm picking up with this energy with your person. Girl, child, man, listen. Baby, first I want to say that there are 12 houses in a birth chart. Each house represents a different area of life. 5th house normally rules romance, dating, flirting, passion, fun, pleasure, creativity, self-expression, and taking risk in love. Okay? It also rules over children. Now listen, the 5th house is the house where people catch feelings and don't know what to do with them. The 5th house is butterflies, crushes, romance, wanting somebody and thinking about somebody, getting excited about somebody. But baby, this card came out in reverse. Now we're talking because immediately what I picked up is blocked expression, not blocked feelings, blocked expression. Big difference. Because everything in this pile keeps saying the same thing. King of Wands, attraction, hurt, ego, pride. Priest, reversed, protecting an image, emotional intimacy, fear of opening up. And now 5th house reversed. Listen, the cards are literally screaming because this person feels things but struggles expressing those things. This person gives me act natural and then immediately acts weird because some of y'all got somebody who likes you so much they become awkward. You know the type. The text gets written, deleted, written again, deleted again. The call almost gets made, then doesn't. The conversation almost happens, then doesn't. Now let's get clear. Because I also feel fear. I feel fear of rejection here. Not a little fear, a lot. Because the 5th house normally says, take a chance, shoot your shot, go for it. But reversed, I hear, what if they don't feel the same? What if I look stupid? What if I get hurt? What if I lose control? And there it is again. There it is again, control. Because this pile has been talking about control from card 1. Because every time this person gets close to being honest, fear shows up. Every time they get close to opening up, their ego shows up. Every time they act close to vulnerability, they pull back. Now here's the crazy part. This card doesn't feel like somebody who isn't interested. Not at all. If anything, it feels like somebody who is very interested. Too interested. Interested enough to be nervous. Interested enough to overthink. Interested enough to get in their own way. The cards are dragging this person. I'm going to keep it 100, okay? Total energetic frequency, pile 3. All right, Clarity family, let's go ahead and put this whole thing together. King of Wands equals attraction, desire, attention, and fixation. Turquoise crystal equals communication, truth, and expression. Messenger equals admiration, growth, and seeing your potential. Hurt ego equals pride, insecurity, and emotional triggers. Priest reversed equals protecting an image and avoiding vulnerability. Strength reversed equals resistance and emotional suppression. Emotional intimacy. Fear of opening up and being truly seen. And fifth house reversed, fear of romantic risk, fear of rejection, and struggling to express feelings. Now, let me tell y'all what I'm honestly seeing. This person likes you a lot. Matter of fact, I think that's part of the problem. Because if they only liked you a little bit, they wouldn't be this triggered. They wouldn't be this nervous. They wouldn't be this emotionally conflicted. So this pile feels like somebody who is trying to maintain control over feelings that are becoming harder and harder to control. And every card keeps repeating the same message. They admire you. They are attracted to you. They think about you. They are emotionally affected by you. But vulnerability scares the hell out of them. Okay? Because this isn't somebody who doesn't feel. This is somebody who doesn't know how to comfortably express what they feel. Big difference. All right, Clarity family, if I had to summarize this entire pile in one sentence, this person is more afraid of their feelings than they are of losing them. Because every card kept pointing back to the same thing. Not lack of attraction, not lack of interest, not lack of feelings. Fear, pride, vulnerability, emotional exposure. And before you go, quick reminder, the 3 questions for $33 personal psychic reading is still available through the link in the description. If you want insight into your specific person, your specific situation, or your specific future, the link is waiting for you below. Until next time, Clarity family, trust your intuition, trust what you feel, and remember, sometimes the strongest feelings belong to the person trying hardest not to show them. And as always, I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next reading.